Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's seminar in the Smart Mobility Connection series, and happy belated St. Patrick's Day. Hope you enjoyed that music. My name is Maggie Harger, and I'm the Traffic 21 Women in Transportation Fellow for this school year and next. The Smart Mobility Connection series is sponsored by the Traffic 21 Institute, as well as the Mobility 21 University Transportation Center as an opportunity for faculty to showcase their current transportation projects. It's also an opportunity for students, fellow faculty, deployment partners, and the broader community to engage and network with researchers, highlight opportunities for involvement, and foster future interdisciplinary collaboration. Please note that today's session is being recorded, so if you don't want your video to be on, then just turn it off. And then all participants' microphones are muted. To ask us a question, please send a message through the chat box. You don't need to wait until the end of the presentation to send your questions. We'll just ask them for you at the end. And now I would like to introduce today's speaker. Helen Loeb is an engineer, professor, and entrepreneur. Trained with a rigorous background in aerospace, control theory, and robotics, she has the privilege of seeing research and development from a wide variety of angles, from software developer in industry to professor and principal investigator in academia, and finally as CEO of her own startup in self-driving. Please help me welcome Helen Loeb as she tells us about her university transportation project entitled Self-Driving Technology and Trust. Can a driving simulator help?
Thank you very much, Maggie, and thank you, Joy, for organizing this presentation this morning. So I guess I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. All right, share. Okay, self-driving technology and trust, can a driving simulator help? So I'll start by saying that I currently have two hats. I am a research scientist at the Center for Injury Research and Prevention at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So I do academic research over there, and I'll show you some slides that come from that research. I guess if it's green, if it comes from CHOP, and if it's blue, it's going to be more like I'm wearing my CEO hat for the startup I created, which is called JITSIC. JITSIC is a startup, and our motto is Drivers Ed for Self-Driving. So a lot of people often ask, as researchers, what's a research question? What's a research question? Well, our research question is actually very simple. It comes from the fact that we have 40,000 people who die on US road every year. And it goes up and down. We have to see what the effect of epidemic of COVID is going to be. But you have to think about 100 people dying on the road every day. That's pretty much what it is. So the question is, this is a research question. How can we make our road safer? So I'll talk just a little bit about myself and how I came to this field. I've spent the last 10 years studying the cause of accidents. This is like a green background. So this is my work at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. I've done multimodal research, meaning using naturalistic studies, like studies that come from the road, from like real vehicles going on real roads being recorded, and using real videos to see why accidents happens. I've used statistics to understand what's going on, why teens crash more frequently than adults. And of course, I've been involved in driving simulator studies at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So just a little glimpse, I mentioned naturalistic studies. So I've been involved in the SHARP2 research. SHARP2 is a federal database. It was a very ambitious progress, $235 million just to accumulate the data. This involved like over 3,000 vehicles, 3,000 drivers, and data was continuously recorded for 2 years. There were 700 crashes, 7,000 near crashes, and we have access to video before, during, and after the crash. So it's still ongoing. I'm involved in this research. This is going on with Drexel University and with NSF support. My other project still at SHOP has been to work on driving simulator research. Our latest project involved over 70 people. You can see on the left the image of what our driving simulator looks like. It's part, like we have 3 monitors and the body of a car. And we were interested in seeing for this research how people react to the idea of autonomous vehicle. So the vehicle, our simulator could be in manual mode, it could be in autonomous mode. And we recruited for this project people from different age group, because it's very important for me to include people who are not like young people, not just the young people should benefit from the technology, but everybody. So you can see we had 16 to 19, 25 to 54, and a group of people 65 and older. So still part of the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, we presented these results at the Automated Vehicle Symposium. I want to highlight when we asked, we had a survey, when we asked if people are comfortable with self-driving, whatever the age group, over 40, 50% of people say they are not comfortable. And this is like, this match what you can see in the literature. PAVE, the Partner for Automotive Vehicle Education, recently did a study and they have similar results. So we had interested take after we did this study. That being said, all the people were very interested in participating to the research, and they are eager for this technology to be out because they feel that will help them in their driving. So I want to stress, so this is like a graph of US motor vehicles fatalities from 1920 to present. And this is the number of deaths per 100 million miles. So it's always important to compare the death to the miles driven. So altogether, over the 100 years, we are doing well. Fatalities have been decreased by 96%, so that's great. But if you remember my first slide, that's still not enough. We still have 40,000 people who die on the road, in US roads every year. So what can help? Well, everything can help. Education can help, better training for the new drivers or people after an injury. Legislation can help. We are thinking about alcohol, speed limitation. Legislation can certainly help. And of course, technology, I'm an engineer, so I'm happy to say that engineering can help. We have seen the work of seat belts, airbags, and more recently at ADAS, automatic braking, and all the new technology that's coming. And the goal, of course, is to converge to vision zero, which is it's always hard to get to zero, but you can always do better. So this is what we try to do. So self-driving, hopefully this is something that's going to bring us towards this vision zero of nobody dying on the road. Now, one issue with self-driving is the trust issue. So we already have some technology like Tesla and other manufacturers already have some kind of self-driving on the road, mostly for highways, but people are still not comfortable with that technology. This I took from its January 2022. Safety first, self-driving industry needs to earn trust. So we are not there yet. I'll show you just a little bit of a video that JITSIC we put together a while back about the trust. So I'll play that video.
They would not ride in a self-driving car. Would you be willing to ride in a self-driving car? I don't think so. You don't think so? No. Dark at this time.
I would rather drive myself.
I'd like to know technology before I
don't think I want to. I think I'm very quiet local neighborhood thing like this. I would give it a try, but I don't really know how to do it.
What's that?
I don't trust them.
So clearly, we need to earn trust, and that's the question. One question is how to build trust. So thank you, Maggie, for putting this question up here on the screen. So if you want to explain how this works, maybe Maggie or Joy.
Sure. So if everyone wants to go ahead, the question is, a large majority of Americans do not trust self-driving tech. As we roll out more ADAS features and level 2 autonomy, how can we build trust so as to accelerate deployment of autonomy? And as soon as everyone go ahead and provide their answer by one of the choices, we can go ahead and share that.
All right, so you'll tell me when I can continue. I guess it should be good.
Sure.
All right, so the trust. Okay, here we have the answer. Okay, so it sounds like design out potential misuse by clearly stating what is assistance. And the next one is give simple choice, combine current ADAS technology. I don't see the end of the answer here. So we'll have time at the end to discuss this. Hopefully we have plenty of time for question and answer. So I'll continue with the presentation. So JITSIC startup, we started a couple of years ago in 2018, and we are, as far as I know, the first company to really focus on the human side of self-driving. There's plenty of work to do in terms of technical development. We are getting there, we are not there, but there is also work to do on the human side. So that's what I've been interested in this past couple of years. So that's when the drive right project came in. The question is to design like a simulator that's what I call a hyper-realistic driving simulator for training, so that we make something that's very comfortable and for everyone, and can clearly help people understand this technology of self-driving. So we have been supported by Mobility 21 for now 2 years. This is our second year. I want to stress that we always have plenty of students working with us. 12 students so far have participated for this project from Penn as well as Drexel. And of course, we are publishing paper on driving simulation. So I'll be happy to to help you if you're interested in our papers. And I want to thank Rahul Mangaram, who is like our partner for this project. So this is a collaboration between JITSIC, an LLC, and Penn Engineering with Rahul Mangaram. So the goal is to build an immersive, ubiquitous simulator. So what I mean is by immersive is like really have both mechanical and visual immersion, so that people feel like they are in a car and are comfortable in the environment that we give them. There should be no learning curve to use a simulator. They know how to drive, so it's just like learning how to self-drive, quote unquote, how to self-drive. So the idea was to integrate like driving simulation with virtual reality. Virtual reality provides you with great visual immersion. You can turn left, turn right. You have 360 degrees of freedom. So you can turn your head and really see, you know, what's behind you. So that's an advancement over monitors. It's also more portable. Step 2 is going to be integrating this technology in an actual vehicle, and it adds to the what I call the mechanical immersion. Like you feel you're in a car because you are in a car. So it's you know, the seat is comfortable, the steering wheel is comfortable, you know where to reach the pedal. So that's what we are trying to do. And our third step is going to add mixed reality. There is a clear distinction between virtual reality and mixed reality. In virtual reality, once you put the headset on, everything you see is virtual. So you're not going to see yourself, you're not going to see your hands, you are in a virtual world. Now, when we talk about augmented or mixed reality, you can actually see both the real and the virtual, and that adds to your comfort level because you see yourself and you see your hands. So the goal with our simulator is to have a native car environment, to have light, affordable sensors that fit any car, to have maximum immersion, and to have both manual and AV mode. It's not a video, it's really a simulation where you can drive or you can try ADAS or self-driving features. So those are the 3 steps, and I'm going to go a little bit in detail in these 3 steps. So I'm going to play here a proof of concept, a video that we did a little while ago, and hopefully that will help you understand where we are going. So I'm going to play this video. It's muted, so I'll comment it. So what we did this very quickly. We used little IMU that are the size of a coin, and that we put on the steering wheel and the pedal. So I'll go back a little bit because it went a little bit fast. So this is like a little IMU, inertial motion unit, that measure your angular velocity. So we put these both on the pedals and on the steering wheel, and it provides you with input about what the steering wheel is doing. So this is, like I say, on the pedals and the steering wheel. We green screened the windshield, and through Bluetooth technology, we capture pressure on the pedal and the steering wheel angle. So you can see the kind of result we get. For this video, there is a little webcam behind my head, so we're filming what the computer sees, and we're filtering the green the green screen. So I'll let you get a feeling of, of this, how it goes. And we used Unity for this development. That was like a proof of concept at the very, very beginning. And we are trying to smooth all of this experience here. So I'll stop the video for now and I'll return to the presentation. So that was the original proof of concept. So we're now working with PEN and developing like a better simulator in terms of the software. So we did a pilot clinical study with Unity, with the SDL simulator that was completed in 2021. And we have been working with the IRB with the University of Pennsylvania because it's a human study. So we always need to make sure that this is kosher. This is we don't do stupid things. Those are human participants. So we check with them. So this study had 28 participants. For us, it was kind of pilot study and a small study, but we wanted to get our feet wet with a clinical study at Penn. And we wrote a paper. And I want to thank George Ziwi, who helped us with this project. So we are now developing our second clinical study, which is planned for spring summer 2022. So for this study, we are using an Oculus Quest 2 headset. We are using Unreal Engine. We are using Carla, which is an open source simulator for autonomous driving research. And we are using Logitech 29 steering wheel. So we are not in a car. We are using off-the-shelf steering wheel and pedals. It's just a little bit more convenient to have this in the lab. And after that, the software can be used in the car as well. But we start with a lab environment, which is a little bit easier. So I'm going to play these videos so that you get an idea about where we are. So this is the setting with the steering wheel, the pedals, the Carla simulator, which is running. And we are going to run in autonomous mode. So those red marks that you see on the screen are actually the waypoints. So our autonomous car is in autonomous mode. So, but when we take over with the steering wheel, we can now drive in manual mode, and we can return to autonomous mode at any time. So this, we have this working just now in the lab. And again, this is with Carla platform and Unreal Engine. So I'm gonna continue here. So step 2 is for us to move towards using an actual vehicle. So we developed wireless IMU that we can add to the steering wheel and to both pedals. So I'm going to play those videos. So that little white square is a sensor that we added. And so it's a very easy fit and easy to test in a lab, but also easy to place in a vehicle. And I'm going to show you the same thing for the steering wheel. We have this little white box, which measures the angular velocity of the steering wheel, and that allows us to capture the user's input. So here we are moving now. I don't have a video there, but we are moving now to implementation in a real car. So this shot is from a real car. The battery seems good. It has very low latency, so it really feels real time, and it fits on very well on different car pedals with little to no drift. So we were quite happy with the development of these sensors. So that's for us our step 2, and I'm gonna move now to the step 3, which is what we call mixed reality. Sometimes it's called augmented reality. These days people go for mixed reality. So I'm going to show you the result we get with a poster. And we are using here the Oculus Quest, which is a VR headset. It's not designed for MR. So we clipped an add-on to the headset, and which is called the Z Mini, which allows us to capture the image and mix those two images. So this is a poster on the wall, and the poster, the software replaces anything that's green with the virtual images. So this is Unity. So you're going to see it actually works pretty well when we use this green field filtering. So what you see is a poster. That's not a car at all. This is a poster on the wall. But we combine both images, and we could pretty much drive just with this poster and the steering wheel. So this is something that it's installed in the lab, and it's good for development again. It's good for development. So that's kind of the beginning of our mixed reality research. So I'm moving to the next slide. So we built in our lab a green screen enclosure, so we can drive a car, and the green screen is already there. The car drives into this little green screen lab, and that allows us to sit with a headset on and work this mixed reality setting. So I'm gonna hopefully I have a little video here. I guess I'm gonna play it from there. So this one I did. I'm gonna come back here. So this is what it feels like. This is with a Prius. All right. So anything that's in the car, including the driver's hands, you will see wearing the headset. But anything that's outside the car, those are virtual images. So, yeah, this is, I'll let you watch here. So we can use this technology for all 3 rear view mirrors, so that when you see images with a rear view mirrors, it actually feels like what you should see. It's behind you. So, all right. So I'll pause here, and I'll continue with the presentation. So again, mixed reality is step 3 for us, and it's a little bit new. I mean, in terms of technology, virtual reality has been here for a while, but mixed reality is still a little bit new. So we are assessing our option. There is a video pass through where the pixels of the real image are combined with the pixel that you get through a video pass-through. So that's true for HTC Vive Pro. That's true for the Z Mini that we're using. That's also true for the Lynx, which is another headset. There is also the possibility of optical pass-through. That's what's happening with HoloLens. That's what is happening with Magic Leap. We have, for now, decided to work with video pass-through. So we are assessing our option for our application. The Vario headset might be one that we will use in the near future. There is the Lynx headset, and there is the Oculus Quest 3, which will be released now. We are currently using Oculus Quest 2, but it's limited for mixed reality. It has a grayscale pass-through, so that's not perfect for our application. So we are still doing quite a bit of research in the field of mixed reality. So I'll mention here, I want to make sure we have plenty of time for questions. So I want to mention potential deployment for us as a startup. And I love research, but I love research when it goes out in the field. So driving school for teaching novice drivers. With a simulator, you can present young drivers with scenarios that they cannot encounter on the road. When you go on the road, you don't know what kind of scenario you are going to have. So, but we can, with a simulator, you can script the scenario of a car that's going to stop right in front of you and test the reaction of the student driver. So that's a potential avenue for deployment. Auto dealership to try ADAS and self-driving. Right now we have a situation where a lot of people like to have the new car, the new electric cars, but the sales of autopilot are actually going down because people are moving away after the hype from getting the technology. So we believe that engineers are doing their best to have something that's safe, and we need consumers to adopt and trust these technologies. So we're hoping that the simulator can be useful in auto dealership. Community centers can be another ways to acclimate people. And of course, rehabilitation after an injury. It's always very hard to say when it is safe for someone to go back driving. So that's with a simulator, you can quantify things, you can measure pressure on a pedal, and that's a very good way to have a rigorous assessment of the abilities to drive. So how you can help? Well, I'm certainly hoping that there are lots of students listening to this talk, either live or through YouTube later on. So for researchers, how you can help? Well, as you heard, we have plenty of direction for research. There is virtual, augmented, and mixed reality integration, which is like a very active field right now. We are interested in developing clinical study with an on-the-road component to really understand if a simulator makes a difference. The ideal study is to look for people who don't trust the technology and have them go on the simulator and then offer them to ride an autonomous vehicle. And that's when you know that you actually had a positive intervention. So that's something that we want to develop. And human factor study design. We are about to design our about to start our second clinical study. So we welcome a partnership, we welcome feedback about how to design this type of study. So way to get involved, obviously we have the SBIR, STTR, or VC funding, all of this is good. Or just like, comment and feedback, this is all very interesting to us. So if you want to get involved, or you want to, have more information from our papers, Rahul from UPenn is one point of contact. The other point of contact is myself. And again, I work at SHOP. I work in driving safety at SHOP. And I work through the JIT6 startup, so you can contact me as well. So this is just like a quick joke, I guess. On the left, oh my God, there's nobody driving that car. That's where we are now. And hopefully one day, oh my God, there's somebody driving that car. So the idea is that we want to have safety. We want to have this vision zero be like a reality. So acknowledgements, I want to thank Mobility 21, was like greatly supported this project. So I'm very appreciative. I want to thank Smart Mobility Connection to offer me a chance to talk today. I want to thank Isake and Joy and Stan from Mobility 21 for their support as well. And again, you have the contact at the end of this slide. And I guess that's what I have today. So we hopefully you people have questions, and hopefully we can engage in a conversation.
Thank you very much, Helen. I do have a few questions from the audience. The first question is, aren't there potentially an infinite number of scenarios and data inputs to test out the AV? Do you think there should be a standard so that all technologies testing for AV have a starting baseline for testing at minimum?
Right. So, yeah, that's a very interesting question. At the moment, as far as I know, different manufacturers test in different conditions. Usually, when, as an engineer, you like to go to the boundaries and to look for extreme conditions to make sure that your system works. That means fog, that means a road that has poor marking, that means a number that maybe the sun is too bright. Yes, I think it would be nice to have a rigorous and standardized battery of tests to make sure that any vehicle that comes on the market can handle this rigorous situation, challenging situation, on top of obviously the very simple situation where you are on a highway and the weather is fine and everything is fine. So I think it would be nice to develop this kind of battery of tests for AVs.
Okay. What do you think of technology to test for impaired drivers before allowing drivers to start the vehicle?
So I think that's something that also would be very good. There are technologies that are developed out there, for example, for alcohol detecting alcohol, or you have now commonly eye tracker is coming in our cars to make sure, especially in the cars that have self-driving capability, to make sure that you are looking at the road. So that means that if you are falling asleep, it's also going to react. So I mentioned how we gained, we dramatically decreased our deaths on the road through technology. So to me, the more safeguards you have, the better it is. So detecting for impaired drivers just before they take the road would be great.
Okay, how does ADAS play into AV and EV hybrid fuels in the future of mobility?
Can you repeat the question? AVAS? Can you repeat the question?
How does ADAS play into automated hybrid fuels in the future of mobility?
So hybrid fuel is actually a different path from the autonomy. What's interesting in mobility is that you have three axes of development that are concurrent. One is autonomy with self-driving, that's one. The other one is the development of electrical vehicle and hybrid vehicle, and it's totally separate from the autonomy. And the third is the shared driving, which is, so all three are happening at the same time, but that doesn't really mean that they are connected. So I think it's a great thing that we are going towards more electrical vehicles, and I think this is true throughout. So I think this is great, and we still have hybrid, but electric vehicles have now a range that's very comfortable, so that you will be able to switch to pure electric and not rely on hybrid.
Okay, how important is ADAS to the future of transport?
ADAS, I'm not sure I understand the question. Or ADAS, ADAS.
Yes. Sorry.
ADAS. Okay. To the future of transportation. I think ADAS is a great first step in terms of self-driving. Some features are starting to be mandatory, such as automatic braking, cameras, backup cameras are like now routine. We see more and more forward collision warning. We see more and more lane keeping assist, and I applaud that. Now, one thing is that drivers most of the time do not know what their vehicle is capable of. There is like a very interesting, well-done website that people can go to better understand ADAS. So that would be, it's done by the University of Iowa, mycardaswhat.org. Maybe somebody can write this in the chat, mycardaswhat.org. That's going to give you a lot of information about the different ADAS feature. And unfortunately, a lot of people, even if they have ADAS installed in their vehicles, they just don't know about it. And I'm worried that they might be surprised when their vehicle, their steering wheel becomes active to put them back on the road, that they don't know that their car is capable of doing that. And that's why, we develop these simulators so that we can make you aware of what ADAS feels like when you actually drive.
Okay, as a student interested in a career in research, what is something that you have learned during your career that you think that a student should know?
Mm-hmm. So I think if you're a student, you should pay very close attention to, you should be passionate. That's number one. It's always good to know what you want and to be passionate about it. You should pay attention to the news, to the development in the field, in your field of choice, and to really, really understand what's going on. And if you can attend like conferences, it's very, researchers love to be asked questions. So you can always email researchers and sometimes, be there. Sometimes the internship will be paid, sometimes it will not be paid, sometimes you can get credit, but you need to get your foot at the door, and then things start to happen. And attach your name to the field by writing blogs, by commenting on news, so that you become educated and that you can start talking to the people who actually work in that field.
That's great advice, Helen. What do you think is the biggest challenge in the autonomous vehicle industry right now?
So I think the biggest challenge is to reach this level, to reach and demonstrate a level of safety that's going to be acceptable to people. We know how many people die on the road. We know how many miles we drive, but in manual mode. But right now, autonomous cars have only driven for very, very small number of miles compared to real vehicles. So it's hard to quantify the level of safety. And so you can do simulation, but simulation is never the real thing. So this is what is hard. And we can see that they are like, from time to time, accidents on the road with autonomous vehicles. Now, this is to be, unfortunately, this is going to be expected, because when we developed like airplanes, it took a while before they were perfectly safe. So it's very challenging. It's very challenging to decide now we are ready, and it's very challenging to acquire the trust of people, and rightly so. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. That was all of the questions that I had from the participants today. Thank you very much, Helen.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Helen, for sharing your work with us today. And to everybody who attended, thanks for joining us. As I mentioned earlier, today's presentation is going to be posted on the Mobility 21 What's Happening page of the website, as well as a link to the video of the session. And then this afternoon, you'll also be receiving an email asking you to take a short survey about today's SMC. So please take a couple minutes to provide your feedback. We really appreciate it. And then for any students who are interested in engaging in transportation topics, the Transportation Club on campus is a great way to plug into transportation topics with fellow transportation nerds. And again, just thanks for attending our Smart Mobility Connection Seminar series today. And keep an eye on your email inbox for advertisements for our next series, which will feature Justin Starr. So thanks again, everybody, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. But if not, hope you have a good rest of your day and a great weekend.